When you hear the name Gypsy Rose Blanchard, you might remember it for one of the most unsettling or tragic crime stories in recent memory. Her story of manipulation, deceit, and her involvement in her mother's murder left the world in shock. But in an unexpected twist, Gypsy is now making headlines again, and this time it's not about her past crimes or any step towards redemption. No, Gypsy has decided to launch her own cosmetics line, something no one really saw coming. You'd think this might be a fresh start, a new chapter in her life. But here's the thing, her cosmetics line is already being called a flop, and it hasn't even been released yet. People are outraged, and many feel that Gypsy's attempt to enter the beauty industry is another way to manipulate the public.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is now coming out with a cosmetics line, and I took it upon myself personally to help with branding. I have some great ideas for your new cosmetics line. Okay, stick with me, girl. I think it should be titled Killer Cosmetics, both with K's, because we know you want to be a Kardashian so bad. Makeup to die for.
Why is her venture into cosmetics failing before it even begins? We are going to break down the reasons behind the backlash, explore the curious obsession with the Kardashians, and unpack why people just aren't buying what Gypsy is trying to sell. This story doesn't start with Gypsy announcing her makeup line. It starts with her surprising appearance on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The same Gypsy Rose, whose fame is tied to one of the most notorious crimes in recent history, was suddenly on screen alongside America's most famous reality TV family people. People were shocked, and the social media erupted. How did Gypsy, who spent years in prison for orchestrating her mother's murder, end up rubbing shoulders with the Kardashians?
How was meeting Kim Kardashian?
She's very nice. She's a lot more humble than I expected. She's a lot shorter than I expected, actually. But she was very humble, very down to earth. You wouldn't expect that from someone of her, fame level and stuff. But she was really nice.
In a candid interview on the Vile podcast, Gypsy herself admitted that she had never even watched the show before being on it. She laughed about how the producers found it funny, but the real takeaway here was Gypsy's fascination with the celebrity lifestyle. She praised Kim Kardashian for her influence, mentioning her work in prison reform and her popular fashion brand schemes.
Let's talk Kardashians.
Oh boy.
That must have been exciting.
It was exciting. Kim was really nice. I actually have never watched the Kardashians.
Wow.
So going on the show, the producer got a big kick out of the fact that I had never watched the show before.
Have you watched since? Have you been like, let me just do
My
a deep dive?
episode?
Yeah, well, obviously.
I don't got time for that.
Yeah, I know.
But you were familiar, obviously, with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I was like, I knew Kim was very influential. I knew that she, has the show The Kardashians. She has Skims, and I knew that she was very into prison reform. And I said, she has sisters, right? Yeah, she has a couple of sisters. That's about what I know about Kim.
She's got some sisters. Chloe, Courtney, they're shaking.
They're fighting right now because of this. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, Skims has a great maternity line. So
Ooh,
some
nice.
nursing bras
Look it up,
and
Kim.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
look it up, Kim.
Have you kept in touch with them at all?
I've kept in touch with her producer.
Okay.
And I've also I have posted our selfies that we had taken, and Kim had liked them on my social media. I have DM'd her a couple times on Instagram. So it's kind of we've had minimal, contact, but I know that is always a line that is open.
That's very cool. Yeah.
But what stood out was Gypsy's almost starstruck attitude. It was clear that this wasn't just about prison reform. This was Gypsy trying to insert herself into the Kardashian world of beauty and fame. And here's the thing, her appearance wasn't about serious reform discussions. Instead, it felt like she was using this platform to reposition herself in the public eye, to align herself with a celebrity culture that she seemed desperate to be a part of. For someone whose story is steeped in manipulation, this felt like another attempt to rewrite her image, to paint herself as someone who could stand alongside the Kardashians. And of course, the people noticed. One person who isn't having it was TikTok creator. The viral video went after Gypsy's cosmetics line announcement with brutal honesty, and she didn't hold back. In her words, this girl gets famous for brutally unleaving her mother and then meets one Kardashian and thinks she's suddenly a Kardashian with several years' experience in the beauty industry.
I just found out that Gypsy Rose has decided that she's going to come out with her own makeup line. This girl gets famous for brutally unaliving her mother and then meets one Kardashian and thinks she suddenly is a Kardashian with several years experience in the beauty industry. Can we just be so fucking for real for 1 second here? You Gypsy fans are absolutely crazy if you think that these are actually going to be good makeup products. These are going to be products that are cheaply manufactured at the lowest price possible so that she can sell them to you and make the highest profit possible. This is just another way for Gypsy to scam the public for money because we all know that her unaliving money is running out. I do, however, have some name suggestions for you, Gypsy, in case you needed any help. I'm thinking con artist couture. Great, right? Or hear me out, malingering beauty. They're both great names, but if you need more suggestions, let me know, girl. I have a lot. This girl is so delusional that she truly believes she's just a regular, everyday celebrity. No, girl, you're famous for a crime. But if we're being honest here, this is something that all everyday, regular celebrities do. They come out with brands and products to sell to you because they know just because their name is on it, you're going to buy it. And it's never really that great of a product, if we're being honest. So I get where Gypsy was coming from with this, but I think you should just stay in your lane because most of these people at least have several years experience in the beauty industry, and while they were doing that, babe, you were in prison for manipulating somebody to unalive your mother and then throwing him under the bus thinking that you were gonna get away with it.
Point hit hard because it voiced what a lot of people were thinking. Gypsy isn't famous for building a beauty empire or working hard to establish herself in the industry. Her fame comes from a crime that shocked the world. And after one encounter with a Kardashian, she seems to believe she can now launch a successful makeup line. Went on to mock the likely quality of Gypsy's products, suggesting they would be cheaply manufactured at the lowest price possible, and that this was just another way for Gypsy to make a quick buck. And this is where this isn't just about makeup. It's about Gypsy trying to manipulate the public yet again, using her name and infamy to profit off a tragedy that people haven't forgotten. The sharp tone of the TikTok resonated with thousands of viewers, and soon the public was rallying behind Nina's words. People were already writing off the cosmetics line as a scam before it even had a chance to hit the shelves. From the moment Gypsy announced her cosmetics line, the backlash was immediate and intense. People questioned her motives, her qualifications, and more importantly, her past. Why would anyone buy makeup from someone whose name is tied to such a dark, infamous crime? The sentiment across social media was clear. This was not going to fly.
So, I got the Gypsy on the bayou because I'm in the area. I'm in the local bayou communities, okay? And, well, I don't know whether to be in shock or just to laugh. Because I just heard that Guppy Shit Rose wants to come out with her own makeup line. Her own fucking makeup line. The girl can't even put on her own makeup right. She can't even put on her own makeup right. Like, but you're gonna sell this shit to people. You're gonna come up with your own makeup line. I don't know if y'all, the rest of TikTok, heard about it yet, or if they haven't. But this shit's news to me, okay? I cannot believe she wants to do a fucking makeup line. What she's gonna call it? Felons? I mean, what the fuck? Like, makeup by parole? Like, what the fuck?
The hashtag murderers makeup started trending as people voiced their disgust at the idea of Gypsy profiting from her crime. It did help that her former prison mate Nad came forward with claims that Gypsy is still monetizing her tragic story. Naka accused Gypsy of continuing to capitalize on the crime that made her infamous, and the cosmetics line, in her opinion, was just another way to manipulate the public for financial gain. And it doesn't stop there. In the same vile podcast, Gypsy talked about how she deleted her Instagram account, which once had 8 million followers. She said she was just a person and not a celebrity. But the irony is hard to miss. Launching a makeup line, aligning herself with the Kardashians, and trying to establish a following seems like exactly what a celebrity would do. And the public sees right through it. People aren't buying it, literally and figuratively. They see this for what it is, another attempt by Gypsy to profit from her dark past.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is now coming out with a cosmetics line, and I took it upon myself personally to help with branding. I have some great ideas for your new cosmetics line. Okay, stick with me, girl. I think it should be titled Killer Cosmetics, both with K's, because we know you want to be a Kardashian so bad. Makeup to die for. You feel me? Like, it has a little ring to it. First up, we're going to be doing the eyes with the Possum palette. I think red should be the Bitches Blank Red. See how it rhymes? We also have Probation Purple, Cellmate Orange. For Piss Yellow, I think we should do Crusty. Silver, it could be called Gone Fishing, you know, because the item that was used was to gut fish. I think it's really, like, unique. Also for black, we can title it My Soul. Yeah, I think I have a lot of really great ideas. And don't forget brown, it could just be Average Bear, because Gypsy says that she's just an average bear and there's nothing special about her whatsoever. We could also do like a liar lip lacquer. That would be good. And maybe a lifelong con tour. I think that would really sell well. And then maybe if you wanted to do like a fragrance line, we could do Ruby's Revenge, or just Guilty. Like kind of like Gucci Guilty, but not Gucci. Gypsy Guilty. Or maybe Deception. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think these are some really great ideas. Hit me up. Hire me, Gypsy.
Let's take a look at the Kardashian connection, because it's not just about admiration. Gypsy seems to be trying to follow their exact path. Rumors have been swirling that Gypsy has even had cosmetic surgery, like a nose job, to resemble Kim Kardashian more closely. While these rumors are unconfirmed, they speak to something deeper. Gypsy's apparent desperation to reinvent herself physically and emotionally, shedding the weight of her past through external changes. During her podcast appearance, Gypsy couldn't stop talking about how much she admired Kim Kardashian. She praised Kim's work in prison reform and mentioned her successful brand scheme. But what Gypsy doesn't seem to realize is that Kim spent years building her empire. Kim turned her fame into a multi-million-dollar business through hard work, strategy, and yes, navigating plenty of controversies along the way. But Gypsy's fame comes from something much darker. She doesn't have the experience or credibility to launch a brand like Kim's.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard says Kim Kardashian likes a lot of her pictures, which I think is kind of funny because only Gypsy Rose Blanchard would be proud that Kim Kardashian, the woman that has been affiliated with P. Diddy, the man that has been indicted on trafficking charges, minors at that, and unaliving people and a slew of other things allegedly, would Gypsy Rose be proud to be affiliated with? Now, she did a clapback to somebody yesterday or today, but let's spin a block on the video before we talk about the clapback. So I think it's kind of crazy that she starts the video out with her boobs in her face. It's sexualizing her pregnancy, which is giving weird. So she's showing us her body and everything, and I think she's trying to show us that she's really pregnant. And now she's saying she's putting on this black shirt, and she's talking about how black is flattering, but she doesn't really like the puffy sleeves. But she goes on to show us a brown top to compare it. And what I think is really weird about this is she said black is slimming, and she was kind of trying to look slimming, which I think is odd. But anyway, this is the brown top, and she says it gives Kim Kardashian vibes, and Kim would be proud of her, which is crazy because it's not giving Kim. Anyway, she pulls out these shoes, and that doesn't give Kim vibes. This is giving brokey. It's giving brokey. For somewhat odd reason, she's obsessed with Kim Kardashian.
And that's why Nina's viral TikTok hit so hard. Gypsy is trying to replicate something that doesn't fit her story. She wasn't building a brand while navigating the ups and downs of fame. She was behind bars manipulating their boyfriend into murdering her mother. It's no wonder that Gypsy's attempt to follow the Kardashian path feels forced, desperate, and frankly, offensive to many. As we look at the public's reaction, it's clear that Gypsy Rose Blanchard's cosmetics lines is being written off as a failure before it even launches. Social media is flooded with comments from people calling for a boycott for her product, and many are saying that they refuse to support someone who they feel has never truly faced the consequences of her actions. People aren't just questioning her motives, they are questioning whether Gypsy should be profiting off her past at all. For many, this cosmetic lines isn't just about makeup. It's about Gypsy trying to rebrand herself in a way that allows her to continue profiting off a tragedy that many still find disturbing. Backlash is fierce. People don't see her as a businesswoman. They see her as someone who's still trying to manipulate the narrative. And no one is interested in buying into it. So, what's next for Gypsy Rose Blanchard? She clearly saw this cosmetics line as a way to reinvent herself, but the public has already spoken, and they aren't on board. People are boycotting her products before they have even launched, and the backlash seems to be growing with each passing day. Gypsy may view this as a new beginning, but the reality is the public isn't ready to let her move on from her past. The Kardashian influence, the rumored cosmetic surgeries, the attempt to break into the beauty industry. It all feels like a desperate attempt to rewrite her story, but the public sees through it. They aren't willing to let Gypsy erase the past so easily. And this cosmetics line is facing an uphill battle that it's unlikely to win. At the end of the day, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's cosmetics line is already being viewed as a failure before it even gets started. What might have been an attempt at a fresh start has been met with skepticism, outrage, and disgust. People aren't willing to look past her crime, and no amount of makeup is going to change that. The truth is, this venture was doomed from the start. Gypsy's past isn't something she can easily leave behind, and the public isn't interested in helping her rewrite her story. As she moves forward, she'll continue to face a public that's unwilling to forget, and that's a challenge no cosmetics line can overcome. If the story left you as shocked as it left me, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Do you think Gypsy Rose Blanchard's cosmetics line can survive this backlash, or is it doomed to fail before it even launches? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. This expanded version of the script dives deeper into Gypsy's failed attempt to launch a cosmetics line, elaborating on public's reaction, the Kardashian connection, and the overall sentiment of betrayal from the public. It remains critical of Gypsy's action and builds a strong emotional narrative that resonates with the audience.